ve bien? Hola, sí. Espera que se coloque. Raúl, Gideon se pronuncia, me dijeron. Gideon. Muy buenas tardes, si podemos ocupar nuestros lugares. Ya están todos ocupados. Bueno. Muy buenas tardes, Su Excelencia, Ministro de Asuntos Exteriores del Estado de Israel, Gideon y comitiva. Saludos al colega parlamentario, presidente de la Honorable Cámara de Diputados, Raúl Latorre, colegas congresistas, senadores, senadoras, diputados, diputadas presentes, invitados especiales, cuerpo diplomático, trabajadores de la prensa y ciudadanía en general. Damos inicio a esta reunión a fin de recibir la visita ilustre del Ministro de Asuntos y Relaciones del Estado de Israel. Invito a los presentes a ponernos de pie para la entonación del himno nacional. Señor Ministro de Relaciones Exteriores del Estado de Israel, Gideon, señor Presidente de la Honorable Cámara de Diputados, compañero Raúl Latorre, honorables miembros del Cuerpo Legislativo, distinguidos colegas, miembros del Congreso Nacional, saludos al cuerpo diplomático presente. Bienvenido a la República del Paraguay, Baruch Abba. Bienvenido al Congreso de la Nación. Los parlamentarios, hoy tenemos el alto honor de recibir a un representante de una nación amiga, de una nación hermana. Su presencia aquí, señor Ministro, es mucho más que un acto protocolar. Es la renovación de un compromiso histórico, de una amistad y hermandad que ha resistido el tiempo, porque Paraguay e Israel no son simplemente dos países con relaciones diplomáticas. Somos dos pueblos que nos reconocemos en nuestras luchas, en nuestras aspiraciones y en nuestra fe inquebrantable en la libertad. Hace más de 7 décadas, cuando el mundo debatía el derecho del pueblo judío a tener una patria, Paraguay alzó su voz con firmeza. Votamos a favor de la creación del Estado de Israel. Votamos en la Asamblea de las Naciones Unidas. No por conveniencia política, sino por convicción moral. Entendimos entonces, como entendemos ahora, que la justicia y la dignidad de un pueblo debe ser defendida sin vacilaciones. Hermanos y amigos, Ahim be Haberim. Estoy practicando mi hebreo, me van a disculpar. Ahim be Haberim. Porque nos consideramos hermanos y amigos. En tiempos de turbulencia internacional, Paraguay se mantiene siempre firme con Israel. Nuestra embajada permanece en Israel. Cuando terminaba el periodo presidencial de Horacio Cartes, ustedes se acuerdan, Paraguay trasladó su embajada a donde corresponde, a la ciudad de Jerusalén, la capital eterna de Israel. Porque las convicciones verdaderas no se negocian según la dirección del viento. Es más, se fortalecen en las adversidades. Paraguayos e israelíes compartimos algo fundamental. Somos democracias que creemos en el Estado de Derecho, en la libertad y en la justicia. En un mundo donde estos valores son amenazados, nuestra alianza es testimonio de que es posible construir sociedades basadas en la dignidad humana. Señor Ministro, estas puertas estarán abiertas siempre para usted y para el pueblo de Israel. El Congreso de Paraguay es su casa. Y termino diciendo, paz y bendición. Shalom Ubraja. Repito, Shalom Ubraja. Es nuestro deseo para Israel, para nuestro país y para el mundo entero. Muchas gracias. A continuación, ofrezco el uso de la palabra al presidente de la Cámara de Diputados, Raúl Latorre.
Buenas tardes, señor presidente del Senado, querido amigo, compañero Basilio Bachi Núñez, Good afternoon, dear Minister of Foreign Affairs of the State of Israel. Gideon, sir, welcome to your second home. I hope you're already feeling it. Buenas tardes, queridos senadores, queridas senadoras, queridos diputados y queridas diputadas de los diferentes espacios políticos con representación parlamentaria en nuestra República. Queridos compañeros del cuerpo diplomático, a quienes quiero saludar en la persona de mi amigo, el embajador de Israel, Amit Mekel. Bienvenido a la República del Paraguay. Bienvenido a un país que más que amigos los considera hermanos. Que compartimos más allá de cualquier pensamiento geopolítico, porque Israel para el Paraguay es una prioridad geopolítica. Más allá de cualquier posible cooperación o intercambio comercial, porque Israel está entre los 4 principales importadores de carne paraguaya, entre otros productos. Nosotros compartimos una raíz judeocristiana, compartimos una historia, compartimos un profundo amor por la democracia, que lo defendemos en el Paraguay, así como Israel lo defiende desde su fundación. Desde un principio, como bien lo dijo el querido compañero senador Basilio Núñez, el Paraguay se paró al lado de Israel. Y a través de un voto decisivo, tuvo un claro pronunciamiento hacia una convicción que hoy sostenemos. Israel tiene el derecho a vivir, tiene el derecho a existir, tiene el derecho a defenderse. Y ese es un derecho que el Paraguay va a defender sistemáticamente en todos los escenarios del mundo. El compromiso de Paraguay trascendió a su fundación y lo demostró en más de una ocasión, porque esto fue necesario, a través del traslado de la Embajada del Paraguay a su eterna capital, Jerusalén, que no solo es su capital política, sino su capital espiritual. Y como bien lo había pronunciado el Papa Juan Pablo II, y me lo compartía usted, ministro, tan sabias palabras. Para muchas naciones y credos, Jerusalén es una ciudad santa. Pero para el pueblo de Israel, Israel es la ciudad, es la tierra prometida. Jerusalén lenesak. Querido ministro, hoy queremos reafirmar el compromiso, la hermandad que existe entre nuestras naciones. Celebramos y compartimos la alegría del pueblo de Israel con la liberación de todos los rehenes cautivos, de ese fatídico atentado, no solo contra Israel, sino contra el mundo libre y contra la misma humanidad de ese 7 de octubre. Nunca voy a olvidar cuando, a través de la invitación del presidente del Congreso de Israel, mi amigo hermano Amir Ohana, visitaba Israel, visité el kibutz que fue atacado, uno de los kibutz que fue atacado, donde fue asesinado el paraguayo Schwarzman. Veía cómo quemaron su casa por dentro. Y veía ese video que los propios terroristas filmaban, donde podían verse los signos de decapitaciones, de violaciones y de asesinatos celebrados como si fuese un gran triunfo. Y nunca voy a olvidar cuando giro mi rostro y veo al presidente Ohana y le digo, no puedo creer, no puedo conciliar con la realidad lo que acabo de ver Porque no puedo creer que un ser humano sea capaz de hacerle esto a otro ser humano. Y nunca voy a olvidar la mirada profunda que me dio en ese momento. Y me dijo, Raúl, lo que pasa es que ellos no creen que nosotros seamos seres humanos. La misma lógica del holocausto, que cobró 6 millones de vidas. Es por eso que nuestra nación ha avanzado sistemáticamente, señor ministro, con la declaración de organizaciones terroristas contra aquellos que no solo atentan contra Israel, sino que atentan contra el mundo libre y la dignidad misma de la vida, que es un principio y derecho fundamental que el Paraguay siempre va a defender. Nosotros entendemos la amenaza que representa el terrorismo. Y entendemos también, señor ministro, que a Israel en 7 frentes no solo le toca defender a Israel, sino que le toca defender al mundo mismo. Y entendemos también cómo ha mutado el antisemitismo, cómo se convierte, cómo cambia, y nosotros tenemos que comprenderlo y adaptarnos a sus nuevas formas. Y yo les digo, querer impedir que el pueblo judío tenga un Estado-nación es antisemitismo. Querer impedir a que el Estado de Israel tenga el derecho a defenderse como cualquier otra nación es antisemitismo. Querer juzgarlo de una manera con una vara diferente es antisemitismo. Y vamos a denunciar esta persecución y vamos a reivindicar su derecho a existir con cada aliento de nuestra voz y donde sea que el mundo nos convoque. Sean ustedes bienvenidos y sepan, señor ministro, que aunque nos quedemos solos, que aunque seamos solo nosotros en el mundo, porque dice nuestro propio himno, contra el mundo, si el mundo se opone, el Paraguay va a pararse con su hermana nación de Israel. Am Israel Hay. El pueblo de Israel vive. Muchas gracias.
Yes. Invito al excelentísimo señor ministro del Estado de Israel a pronunciar su discurso.
President of the Senate, Basilio Gustavo Núñez, President of the Chamber of the Deputies, Raúl Latorre, distinguished members of the Senate and the Chamber of Deputies, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, the distance between Israel and Paraguay is long. We had a lot of time during the flights. This is why my speech will be the longest. It's true honor to address both houses of Paraguay's esteemed National Congress. I come here from Jerusalem as the foreign minister of the State of Israel, the one and only Jewish state. We are at a historic moment in Israel-Paraguay relations. Israel and Paraguay are not simply friends. We are sister nations. Somos naciones hermanas. Paraguay is a beautiful country. You have a special culture. Personal warmth and humility are part of your national identity. Abraham, our forefather, was known for his generous hospitality and humility. You have clearly inherited these biblical traits. I feel Paraguay's warmth in the generous hospitality I received today in Asunción. I appreciate that. Paraguay experienced 2 difficult wars. In in 1864 and in 1932. It lost much of its population and territory in these tragic wars. After regional and civil wars and brutal dictatorship, Paraguay built a booming modern democracy. History presented Paraguay with tough challenges. You proved that you are patriots that know how to sacrifice for your homeland when it is necessary. You know how to fight on multiple fronts. And now I understood during this visit, after I asked questions to my hosts, you probably have a secret formula, which is the women in Paraguay. We also faced a difficult war on 7 fronts over the past 2 years. We know that you understand us. The Jewish people have had a painful past too. After 2,000 long years of exile, murder, and persecution, we established the State of Israel. Paraguay voted for its establishment at the United Nations in 1947. Paraguay was among the first countries to recognize Israel. The Jewish people are a nation that remember. We will never forget your role in that historic vote. The partnership between Israel and Paraguay is long-term and strategic. I will not mention all the fields of cooperation, but today we signed a very important MOU on security cooperation. This is a clear expression of our strategic ties. Paraguay is developing its defense capabilities. Israel's defense industry has experience and capabilities that we want to share with our friends, with you, and we will. Our governments cooperate closely, but I believe that we can and must strengthen economic people-to-people ties. I arrived today to Asunción with a business delegation of senior government officials, representatives of private companies, and heads of major economic organizations. We want to deepen our economic cooperation in water technologies, advanced agriculture, cyber, renewable energy, and more. Paraguay's economy is strong and growing. We believe in it. We want to be a part of your success story. Paraguay's projected economic growth for 2025 stands at 5.3%. Our bilateral trade is also rapidly increasing. There are about 11,730 kilometers separating Asunción and Jerusalem. The distance is great. The journey here is long, as I said, but our hearts are close. Distinguished members, this is more than a just partnership of interests. It's a warm friendship. It's an alliance of believers, of Jews and Christians in an ancient tradition based on the Bible. At the heart of this tradition is Jerusalem, the eternal capital of the Jewish people. Jerusalem is a beating heart of the Jewish people. It is not just a city, it is a symbol. It is the fulfillment of more than a 3,000-year-old dream. Our ancestors prayed toward Jerusalem every day for 2,000 years in exile. It is our eternal capital, yet there are many who try to deny our connection to the history of Jerusalem. They try to challenge our sovereignty over Jerusalem. They deny our historical biblical roots to Jerusalem. How can you deny it? I mean, when you walk in Israel, when you tour the country, you don't need a map. If you take the Bible in your hands, you see that nothing changed. Jerusalem is Jerusalem. Hebron is Hebron. Shiloh is Shiloh. Everything stayed exactly like in the Holy Bible. The archaeological findings in the city of David show beyond any doubt that Jewish people are indigenous to this ancient land. We were in Jerusalem a long, long time ago, 3,000 years ago, in the time of King David, and before that. And we are in Jerusalem now, to stay forever. Only Israeli sovereignty over Jerusalem ensures the freedom of worship for all three religions, Jews, Christians, and Muslims. I want to share a story that I told previously to Senor Latorre. When I was a young cabinet secretary back in 1999, Ariel Sharon was then the foreign minister. He later became a prime minister. Minister Sharon told me about a visit to the Vatican where he meets the Pope, John Paul II. Immediately when he entered, the Pope asked him, "Foreign Minister, do you know the difference between Terra Santa and Terra Prometida?" And Mr. Sharon told me, I didn't know what the Pope meant, because Terra Santa is the land of Israel and Terra Prometida is also the land of Israel. So what's the difference? But the Pope didn't give the foreign minister time to answer. He immediately said, "Holy for all three religions, promised only to the Jews." This was the words of the Holy Pope. And he repeated, distinguished members, in the book of Psalms, King David writes, "If I forget you, Jerusalem, let my right hand be forgotten." We will never forget Jerusalem. We are grateful to former President Horacio Cartes for his decision in 2018 to move Paraguay's embassy to Jerusalem. We commend President Peña for his decision to move Paraguay's embassy to Jerusalem, which he did in his last visit to Israel, December 2024. And therefore, two presidents of the state of Paraguay laid stones in Jerusalem's ancient walls. In his speech at Israel's Knesset in Jerusalem, President Peña said, "Paraguay knows where the truth stands. While the international community may be timid or ambiguous, Paraguay fully embraces the just cause of Israel. Not because it is easy, but because it is righteous." Distinguished member, Paraguay is righteous. And now there are 7 embassies in Jerusalem. We hope see many more nations follow in Paraguay's historic footsteps. We already know about few that will do that soon. Distinguished member, Israel is confronting a unique phenomenon: terror states. These are not simply terror organizations. When terror organizations gain control over a territory and population, they become terror states. They use the full resources of a country to support their jihadistic vision. They weaponize the suffering of their own people International aid flows into this area. The terror state take over the aid to build weapons and military infrastructure. When they need more terrorists, they use the aid to pressure families. They take over education system to radicalize a new generation of jihadists. Terror states use ordinary government activities such as taxes and fuel sales for terrorism. They drain their population financially to pay for their terror operations. Serving as a terrorist in the army of terror is becoming the most profitable job in terror states. To be a terrorist today, to be a Hezbollah terrorist in Lebanon today is much more beneficial than being a soldier in the army of Lebanon. Serving a terrorist in the army of terror is becoming the most profitable job in terror states. Terror organizations use small arms and suicide bombs. Terror states use ballistic missiles, tunnel networks, and huge armies. Their military capabilities look like those of real states. The difference between a terror organization and a terror state is similar to the difference between neo-Nazis and Nazi regime in Germany. Neo-Nazi exists today, but they do not control territory and population. The Nazi regime did, and that allowed it to carry out terrible crime. Terror states are extremely difficult to uproot when they take hold. They embed themselves deeply into civilian life. We saw this on full display when America and Western Alliance fought the terror state of ISIS. ISIS controlled a vast territory and population. It tried to form an Islamist caliphate. It took great efforts and a heavy price to fight the ISIS terror state. Distinguished members, Israel now faces 3 terror states in the Middle East: Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Gaza, and the Houthis in Yemen. Hezbollah built its terror state after Israel withdrew from South Lebanon in 2000, in the year of 2000. We fully withdrew from there. In Gaza, Hamas overthrew the Palestinian Authority and took control after we fully withdrew unilaterally on 2005. These are the facts. Hamas built thousands of kilometers of underground terror tunnels in Gaza. They didn't give these tunnels for the citizens to have a shelter. They escape. The terrorists escape to the tunnels and let the citizens stay above. They turned Gaza into a terror kingdom. It took Gaza's resources and aid from international organizations and used them for terror. It used it to build a terror state above and below the ground. It includes a big arsenal of rockets and drones to fire at Israel. In Yemen, the Houthis built a powerful army with a massive arsenal. They did so after the world held back the Saudi-led coalition in 2018. This also happened with Iranian instruction, training, and financing. Today, terror states do not just focus on areas they control. They threaten the region and even the world. The Houthi terror state is carrying out modern piracy in the Red Sea. It terrorized the international shipping lanes on the Red Sea. It takes sailors hostages and undermines the freedom of navigation. Terror states cooperate between themselves as a terror network. After Hamas committed the October 7 massacre, Hezbollah and the Houthis began attacking Israel too. But this cooperation goes far beyond the Middle East. It expands to Africa, Latin America, and beyond. Along the Horn of Africa, we see the Houthi threat spreading. The Houthis are working closely with Al-Shabaab in Somalia. Al-Shabaab is considered the most well-funded and dangerous branch of Al-Qaeda. In South America, criminals are building narco-terror alliances with the Middle East terror state. The nexus of this network is Venezuela. Venezuela destabilized the region by driving a refugee crisis. It serves as a base for Hezbollah terror operatives. It hosts an Iranian weapons production facility. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro had said openly that Venezuela is part of the axis of resistance. He said that this axis exists in Africa, Asia, the Middle East, Latin America, and the Caribbean. When he said this, we should believe him. The terror states in Gaza, Lebanon, and Yemen have been weakened, but they have not yet been dismantled. The world is a better place today without Hezbollah Chief of Staff Ali Tabtabai. The head of the terror army was a mass murderer. He had American and Israeli blood on his hands. He was directing the efforts of rebuild Hezbollah terror army. He was eliminated yesterday. IDF operations against Hezbollah are not a violation of Lebanon's sovereignty. The very existence of the Hezbollah terror state as the strongest armed force in Lebanon is the violation of Lebanon's sovereignty. As long as Hezbollah is not disarmed, Lebanon will remain de facto under Iranian occupation. Over the past year, since the ceasefire, Hezbollah has begun working to restore its strength and to rearm after the heavy blows it suffered from Israel in 2024. As long as Hezbollah is the strongest military force in Lebanon, Israel has no security and Lebanon has no future. We would be very glad to see the Lebanese government implement its own decision and dismantle Hezbollah arsenal. But the truth is that this is happening in a very minor way. In fact, Hezbollah is rearming more than it is disarming. Iran continues to support these efforts. It's helping its terror states, proxies, expand their reach far beyond the Middle East. Our fight against this network is shared. It demands that we work together for the sake of freedom. Dealing with network of terror states requires adopting our geopolitical thinking. Terror states are rewriting international borders. The whole concept of international borders has changed. In fact, Western democracies must join forces in combating this dangerous phenomenon. Against the axis of terror, the alliance of liberty must rise. The West can learn from Israel's experience fighting terror states in the Middle East. Paraguay has taken important steps in this direction. We commend Paraguay's moral decision to expand its terror organization designation to include the so-called political wings of Hamas and Hezbollah. Paraguay also designated Iran's Revolutionary Guards as a terror organization. This is yet another example of the moral dimension in Paraguay's foreign policy. We call on other countries to follow suit. Paraguay and Israel stand together in the fight for freedom. The future belongs to the Alliance of Liberty. Distinguished members, President Peña is one of the most impressive leaders in Latin America and on international stage. He was the only Latin American leader to attend President Trump's summit in Sharm el-Sheikh. Under his leadership, Paraguay has stood firmly by Israel on the international stage. Paraguay had issued 65 declarations of support for Israel since October 7. 65, this is incredible. We will not forget it. I want to thank you, the esteemed members of this esteemed house, for your tremendous support for Israel. Thank you for your moral clarity. We will continue standing side by side, shoulder to shoulder. I know that you will and we will accomplish more together. This is truly a historic time for the relationship between our nations. Viva Paraguay! Viva Israel! Siempre estaremos con ustedes, con el pueblo de Paraguay. We will always stand with you, with the people of Paraguay. Muchas gracias.
Antes de dar por finalizada el motivo de esta reunión, agradezco en nombre del Congreso de la Nación la presencia del ilustre visitante y de todos los presentes. Muchas gracias.